going on, guys? Island Living back with another top 5 video for you today. Today we're going to do the top 5 pros of living in the U.S. Virgin Islands. My hat here, St. Thomas, our home for 10 years. We love it, and this video is exciting for me just to say the top things, the pros of living and moving to the U.S. Virgin Islands. I did work for the telecommunications company, Innovative, then it was known as Via. Spent a lot of time in St. Croix, spent a lot of time in St. John. Probably spent one weekend a month in St. John over the course of a decade. That was our goal. And did spend a lot of time in St. Croix. So again, this is going to be more St. Thomas specific, but it's going to speak for the USVI as a whole. You ready? Let's hit it. All right. Number 5 is going to be friends. And we talked about this in the pros of the actual overall Caribbean, but at the same time, it's very true in the Virgin Islands. These are tiny, tiny islands, U.S. territories. English is the first language, and people are coming from all over. It really is, a melting pot of people from all over. Really, the United States. You are going to see some people from around the world, but a ton of folks from the mainland. And I love that about it. It's so easy to make friends. One of the comments that a lot of people had made over the years was just how easy it was to make friends as soon as you move on island, and I would agree with that. And you make friends for life. So there's a lot of really nice things about, talked about your family, your island family, but it is really one of the top 5, the number 5 in my mind. You can rank it wherever you want. Maybe it's higher on the list for you, but really it's just an amazing thing to have all these friends, your island friends, that become your family. All right, number 4 is going to be the slow pace of life. This can be a frustration for some people, but I really came to enjoy it. And, we just liked how slow it was, laid back, kind of a chill place. And, again, talked about it on the overall Caribbean video, but you just roll with the punches. And if you can just kind of blend in and slow down to island time, then that's a beautiful thing. It is a bit ridiculous, though, I will say. I mean, if you're going to have a beach party at noon, people will be showing up at 2 or 3 or even later. I kind of blended over the years, over the decade, and got to the point that if I told somebody to be at the beach at noon, I was one of those guilty ones that would show up about 12:30 or 1 with the grill and get it started. But once you know that is the norm, and you know that island time is just what it is, you adjust to that slow pace, and it's a lot different than the rat race up in the States. So that's really a nice thing. All right, number 3 is going to be the small town feel. I would say if you come from a big city and you're used to that kind of hustle and bustle and that constant background noise of everything going on, the U.S. Virgin Islands I don't think is really going to be for you. But if you come from a small town America, it's just great. There's no crowds. There is some crowds on cruise ship days, but then you just realize, okay, which beaches do they drop all the cruise ship people off? And then you avoid those beaches on those days. So it's really pretty easy to avoid the crowds. It's funny, living in St. Thomas, people talked about the traffic. The traffic is so bad. Going up Rappoon Hill, it's all backed up, and it's all relative, because the island version of a traffic jam is maybe a 10-minute delay. And, your 15-minute commute is now 25. Guys, that is nothing compared to the States. So there's really a lack of crowds. I will say when I go stateside, I'm always shocked at, especially on the weekend, you have to call or use a mobile app and get a reservation to a restaurant way in advance. And in the islands, you just kind of roll in and show up. I mean, there's hardly any waits for any restaurants. And again, you're going to get a little bit busier during the peak season, during the winter months. Peak season really is from around Christmas and up until after all the spring break stuff is over. So usually the first part of April kind of ends and winds up the busy season. But again, small town feel is definitely a pro in my mind for the Virgin Islands. All right, number 2 pro for moving to and living in the U.S. Virgin Islands is going to be the beaches. Some of the most amazing white sand, calm, tranquil waters. There are so many islands and offshore keys that it really breaks up the ocean waves and the surf, and it's just a beautiful thing. It's hard to describe the waters and the beaches of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Some of the best beaches in the world. Beaches that have nice shade trees on the sides of them. You know, I've never been a fan of taking a beach umbrella to the beach to create some artificial shade. Just lay out under a tree. Make sure it's not a coconut tree, because you don't want one of those bad boys cracking you in the head. But again, the beaches are just simply amazing. The snorkeling, the scuba diving, really everything associated with the water and the beaches. That is obviously the big ticket draw of the Virgin Islands. The economy is driven 80+% by tourism, and the beaches and the blue turquoise waters and the reefs are really the big draw of the U.S. Virgin Islands. And so that is definitely way up there. Some people would probably put that on number one. My number one is going to be maybe a little different and a little bit of a surprise. So let's get to it. All right, are you ready? The number one pro in my mind of living in and moving to the U.S. Virgin Islands is the excitement. And it's really hard to describe what I mean by this. If you're in St. Thomas, you're going to see a bumper sticker, and the bumper sticker is going to say, "Welcome to St. Thomas. Can't make this shit up." You can't make this stuff up, guys. It is hard to quantify. All sorts of randomness on a certain day of the week. Any given day, you're going to see things you've never seen in your life. You're going to see guys going down a big hill, riding a shopping cart. There are so many stories that I could share. Some of those are funny, and some of those are shocking. But just the crazy randomness of the U.S. Virgin Islands, all of the excitement. My wife was doing some sewing work, and then randomly was invited to do some alterations for a wedding dress from a Danish royal family that was having a wedding there on a private island. I mean, just the stuff, I've ran into multiple billionaires, and how many people in a normal day and in a normal life are going to run into billionaires, I had a billionaire knock on our door and invite himself as our new neighbor. I mean, and trust me, we weren't in a very nice place at that time. We were renting a small 2-bedroom apartment. I'm telling you guys, it is just the excitement. You've got to get there. You've got to experience it. That vacation mode, that party vibe is there, but at the same time, it's just the craziness of the U.S. Virgin Islands is really what I love. And now that I no longer live there, it's really one of the things that I miss the most. So again, that's the top 5 pros of living in the U.S. Virgin Islands. If you like this content, you want to come back for more, we're dropping almost daily videos at this point in time. We're going to run through the Caribbean with these top 5 lists. If you're liking this content, smash that like button. Give me a subscribe. Really would appreciate it as we're trying to grow this channel and just kind of educate from our perspective, again, of 13+ years living in the Caribbean. So again, thanks everybody. Be blessed.